Welcome back to episode 2 of Nick and Michael podcast. So, I was thinking, what will, people who haven't been here and wish to be here would want to know. So, that's why I think we should talk about daily activities here, let's say. Specifically in Greece, in Thessaloniki, as a medical student. Because, it's actually kind of a puzzling thing to think about. To be a medical student in the first year, for me, I feel it was really chill.
Really chill.
Seriously, really chill.
Yeah, it was. Sometimes it did get a bit too chill at times. Well, especially last semester that we had our fourth semester. In case you don't know, there was a big train accident that happened.
And then the election.
And then some elections occurred, and usually when a bunch of stuff happens in Greece, universities close.
Yes. Even if nothing happened, universities still
close. Like, like yesterday, for example, we had a day off because there's elections, and on Monday, we're recording this on a Saturday, and next week as well, Friday, Monday off. So we only have 3 days this following week.
Yeah, I mean, if you see it from, let's say, a fresh set of eyes, it's probably a bad thing, and it is in a way for us medical students. You know why? Personally, for me, if you get too many days off, I feel like I will lose momentum to study. Like, for me to be studying, I need to have a rhythm. I have to always be in it, and I have to grind every day and feel it that way. If I have some stop in between, it's gonna ruin my mood, let's say.
Another thing that's bad with stopping all the time is that the lectures have to be postponed, and then they have to be pushed, and then eventually it just compounds into this big pile of leftover lectures, and then exams are around the corner, and then all you're doing is online meetings, online Zoom meetings, whatever, to try to finish the lectures as best as you can. But I do want to emphasize that at the end of the day, it's really your responsibility to study or to look at the stuff.
I mean, we are in university already. We're not going to expect that they're going to give us homework or they're going to push us like when we were in primary school. So I would say that it is something bad, but eventually it comes down to us about how we respond to it. Talking about respond, how do you prepare your day, let's say, before going to school?
For me, it's just very basic. I try, I wake up, make my bed, this, that. I wash up. But I always make sure that I eat something small before I come here to feel good. Either that or I don't eat anything at all.
Do you exercise?
I try to sometimes in the morning. Sometimes, maybe just a few push-ups here or there just to get me a bit.
Do you have time for, let's say, leisure activities, those kind of things?
Yes.
Because from, before I was a medical student, I have heard that a lot of myth about medical student being full nerd, and even doctors, they just don't have time for other things. Do you think, now that you're third year, do you think it might be true?
Listen, I mean, you know very well as well that our schedule this year is absolutely packed.
Yep.
That is not even a joke. For going from second year to third year,
it's a big gap. It's a big difference.
You're here first year, second year is a bit higher, and then third year is here.
Yeah. Not even joking.
This isn't even an over-exaggeration. Our Wednesdays and Thursdays, for example, are full until at least 6.
Monday too.
And Monday as well.
Yeah, Monday as well.
From, what time is it?
8.
It was 8, and then they changed it to 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
No, for us it's 8:30.
Oh yeah, you're right. For us it's 8:30 because we go to a specific hospital which is right opposite the campus.
Yeah.
It's actually within the campus of the university. It's called Aheba Hospital, if you want to look it up. And we have to be there by 8:30 in the morning, and we start clinical rounds.
Yeah.
And then immediately lectures after that.
And this is only the first week that we are in the third semester.
Yes.
from next week on, we'll have a thing called radiology labs, which start from 6 to 8 in the evening. So on some days of the week, we will have lectures until 8 p.m. basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to the myth, to be honest. In the first 2 years when I was here, I thought, that's bullshit. Yeah, but now it's becoming true. Like, you actually don't have time for other things. I mean, like, okay, you will still have time, let's say, from 6 to 8 in the morning and from 8 to 10 in the morning, but what would you do with it? You have to fucking grind your presentation, to read your books and those stuff. So essentially everything you have, let's say free time, is in the weekend. Like, that's it really. Like, don't blame a medical student that they don't have time for you. Just ask them in the weekend if they have time. Like, seriously.
If you really care about having time and all that, you must at least be consistent with your work a little bit every day.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be left behind, you need to be even an hour a day. An hour a day, at least for the beginning of the semester, might be enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really need to start bumping that up to maybe 2-3 hours a day. But it's not something, some people have said, oh, you at least spend 5-6 hours a day grinding all the time.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
You don't even have 5-6 hours a day to study.
Yeah.
At least with our schedules, we don't. We actually don't. If we actually want to get any form of sleep. And I do stress this. Sleep is absolutely...
detrimental.
Yeah, detrimental to at least staying awake in class. He can tell you a lot about that.
Yeah, I've struggled with staying awake in class. And the problem for me is I really want to stay awake. Like, I try so hard during the sleepiness to open my fucking eyes, but I just can't. My problem is actually not the lack of sleep. It's always because of my habit, let's say. From Vietnam, like I'm always used to waking up very, very early, from like 4 or 5 something, and I try to keep it that way, and I sleep very early in the evening. But like when I came here, and even when I was in Vietnam, I always have a bit sleepiness during the midday. Like for lectures from 12 to 2 something, around those time.
Yeah, I see you start.
Always either
nodding off.
Yeah, like I will have one lecture kind of sleeping, and then the next one I'll be fully awake, and like all good. But yeah, I struggle with that. So I would say that just try to balance it in a way that you will be in your optimum window of operation during the day.
I also think this sleepiness thing, because I felt that as well.
Yeah.
I get very sleepy around midday.
Yeah.
But I never get that kind of sleepiness when I'm somewhere else, in another country, for example.
Yeah, that's true. I think it also goes. It also correlates to, let's say, how excited we are for some of the lectures as well.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I just can't be bothered to be listening to some of the professors. So, I mean, okay, that's a bad thing. I admit, but it is what happened. It's what's happening to me, and it might be happening to you too. So just keep in mind.
You're always going to have certain lectures that you like, don't like, certain professors that you like or don't like. That's in any university. You can't come here and expect to like everything. That's not the reality.
Yeah.
And especially that some professors might not even... They do speak English. They do teach in English. Some of them, because they might not know English as better than others, do have a harder time articulating what they want to say.
Yeah.
And you might not understand, and you might just give up in trying to understand.
But I would want to say that it's getting better. Like,
it is getting better, yeah. More
like,
professors have gotten better at their English.
Yeah, I mean, like, now that I'm third year, I actually don't... Yeah, we haven't been complaining that recently.
We haven't. First year was quite bad.
Yeah, first year was really bad. Not
very
quite
bad.
Really bad. Like, don't tell other people this, but but we had a...
Don't share this video.
We had a professor, I will not say which subject, that I was having this thing called auto.ai, which basically listen and transcribe what they were saying in English. And even the AI couldn't really listen to him. Like, the AI would be getting all the words wrong, and I mean, there was no way.
We were trying to read the transcription right after.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop dying.
Yeah, we couldn't stop laughing. That was so funny, the AI. Yeah, but in his defense, okay, I would say, like, that professor, he's a good professor. Like, he's very, let's say, enthusiastic with what he does. So
he really makes you like the subject as well.
Yeah.
And he's always like, oh, I need to show you this, I need to show you that.
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah. If you're from our program, you would probably have.
You
guessed.
definitely know who we're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Daily life, huh? Do you have time, let's say, during in the first year, to, like, be doing what you like?
Well, I'll be honest. In the first year, I was a bit of a. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. What do I mean by this? I mean, like, I had just moved from Cyprus, and I was trying to find myself, in a sense, and find what I wanted to do, what I wanted to this, and I ended up falling into a trap where, because the food is really cheap here, and I started eating a lot, I gained a lot of weight. That's also a thing that you should be careful from, because let's say you come from the UK, Germany, somewhere there. The food here is extremely cheap compared to those places, but the thing is, Greek people really love olive oil. Really love olive oil, and they put it in everything.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to put in your food, but you need to be careful, because Greek food is also very healthy. It is. We'll get on to the food in another episode.
Yeah.
But it's a trap. It's also extremely unhealthy at times, because it can be so available everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of... No, it's not on par with Turkish food, not anywhere close. But the availability is on par with Turkish food. You can get this, you can get that everywhere, and it's relatively inexpensive. So I gained a lot of weight, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was a bit lost, so couldn't really articulate what I wanted to be doing in the first year. Second year was a lot better. Found a few things to be doing, even though we had more stuff in the second year.
Yeah, actually I felt the more we are in this, the more, like, let's say, comfortable we feel with this. Like, personally for me, I still have time to do everything I want to. And like I would still have time to play tennis. I would still have time to play game with my friend in the weekend, let's say. I would still have time to work on stuff that I like, that makes money. Yeah, so I would say that if you really want to do something, you would still find time for it. But the only advice that I would give you is always try to be consistent with your study, like medical study. Like, if you cannot spend 2-3 hours a day, at least spend half an hour, like, every day. I mean, like, every single day. Don't lose that. Like, don't try to say, oh, I have a day off today, I don't want to touch medical book. Don't. Just touch it.
Even if you make a few Anki cards, you know about Anki very well, because you use it.
We'll talk about it in...
we'll talk about that. Even if you just do a few cards like that, at least do them to keep the information going from the active learning curve and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would say that, like, many people ask me, is medical school difficult? Or sometimes they would say, like, oh, you're so smart, you can be studying in medical school. I'd say, no, medical school is actually not difficult. It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's not difficult in the complexity of what you need to know.
Yeah.
It's difficult in the amount you need to know. For example, we did in biochemistry, after we did general biochemistry, which in our first semester, in the first year, in our second semester, we had biochemistry with metabolism. It was just metabolism.
Yeah, we had to learn all the fucking pathway, like Eurocycle.
So many pathways. Yeah.
I don't even remember what other cycle
We
I
had Krebs cycle. We had the glucose decomposition. And we had the oxidative stress one. The
Yeah.
cytochrome P50. That one.
And we still have to do things with P15 now.
Yeah, we still because I mean, this actually the theory that they teach you here. Greeks are very good at knowing theory. This is the thing I've come to realize is that they really emphasize teaching theory and then try to base that theory into their practice, which is why so many Greek doctors are so good at what they do when they go to Europe or the US. It's like they have a kind of connection with the subjects almost that in the West they're trying to automate and not really put much of the work into. One of our professors was talking about that like 2 days ago somewhere.
Yeah.
He was saying that at least in Sweden, they're trying to automate so many of the processes in medicine and all that. And to actually have a connection with it is something that really makes you stand out as a doctor. And that is one thing that they really focus on here. So if you come here, just know that there's a lot more work to be done. You do a lot more work with less. And when you do more with less, you're stronger with more.
I don't understand what he just said.
What do you mean?
I literally don't understand what you just said.
In Greece, like they might have less facilities.
Okay.
That is a given. They do have less facilities. Let's not even try to downplay that.
Yeah, I agree.
So they might try to rely on theory more.
That is true.
Yeah. But because they do less, or they have less, they do more. They try to get into it more.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So you basically are trying to say that because they have, let's say...
Yeah.
So basically, you're trying to say that because they have less stuff to operate with, they have to compensate for it.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have to compensate for it by knowing more, I would say. And by knowing more of, oh, okay, that condition might be slightly different, so I need to do this, then I need to do that for this condition. And I believe that's why we were taught so much about metabolism. We have a student who studied in some other universities in the UK, I believe, and she was telling us that it's nowhere near as difficult there as it is here. It is much more difficult
You mean
here,
in terms of theory?
in terms of theory, but even she admitted that it makes you a better doctor. You start off with such complex things and then you go into it and you have more of a base
Yeah.
to get into.
Oh. In Thessaloniki, how would you rate the nightlife here?
The nightlife here is amazing.
Compared to?
Well, compared to Cyprus doesn't have much. Although, I mean, you can drive better in Cyprus. That's a difference. But here there's a lot more activities and there's a bigger cluster of them as well. So there's a bigger concentration of bars, if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're into clubs, there's a lot of clubs. That was a thing the first year we were talking a lot about, like, where are the clubs? Yeah.
So we should talk about this more. Like, this is actually what people
This is what people care about. You guys, you don't care about the university, you care about the clubs.
The clubs. We're talking about the clubs.